Welcome back to the Tool Crib. Today we're going to be looking at the Leatherman SuperTool 300 EOD. Now this is a specialized multi-tool, as EOD implies, but it's going to have some tools that not every other multi-tool is going to have. It's kind of unique. There's actually one tool that I think it's the only one of all of the Leathermans that has this particular tool. But we're going to get into that. First we'll jump into the specs, and then we'll go through all the tools and features and functions of the 300 EOD. The weight on the SuperTool 300 EOD is going to come in just a tick under 10 ounces. So it's pretty decent size multi-tool as far as weight goes. That's going to be equivalent to about 278 grams. It is 4.5-inch frame tool, so that's going to be about 114 millimeters. It's 1.5 inches wide at its widest point. It's going to be about 38 millimeters. And the thickness is about 3/4 inch or about 19 millimeters. So this is not what you would consider a light tool. Now the 300 EOD is going to come in the black oxide version. Now for the sheath on the 300 EOD, I elected to get the tan version for mine. And you get this particular sheath with the MUT. This is a MOLLE compatible sheath that you were able to utilize for these larger and this kind of military-based multi-tools, and the EOD will definitely be a military-based multi-tool. So it comes with hook and loop on it, and because it's for the MUT, you actually have the little extra pocket up there in front that you can utilize to house that secondary wrench. And on the back side as well, it has a place where the wrench would go in from the two MUT versions, the regular Leatherman MUT and then the Leatherman MUT EOD. Now you can also get this in black. It also includes 2 elastic side pockets on it as well. And the multi-tool, let's just slip it in there real quick, show you how she fits in there. It's a very nice fit on that multi-tool. Now you can get these in black too. This is the one that I have for my Leatherman MUT, the one I'm going to be giving away. So those are the 2 different color combinations that you can get with the MOLLE compatible sheaths. Let's get a little further into the tool set of the 300 EOD. One of the unique features to the 300 EOD, and this is going to be true of the MUT EOD as well, is that they come with a very special plier head to them. So while the outer size, the geometry and everything of the plier head is pretty on par with what you're going to get with the Leatherman Surge or the regular SuperTool 300, it's a little bit different in various different ways. So first of all, it has the needle nose, and you can see the needle nose on here come down to a bit finer point than what you're going to get. And I just happen to have my Leatherman Surge here, so you can kind of see the difference there, that the EOD version comes down to a much finer point. So while they look pretty similar, there are some differences to them. Now the next thing is going to be, obviously, one of the things that's going to jump out. Instead of having regular pliers, it's going to have the blasting cap crimper. That is going to be specific for EOD techs. And it also incorporates the same stranded wire cutters and wire crimpers at the back of the plier heads. Now what is unique about the EOD versions of these tools is you'll notice that there's no hard wire cutters on here. There's just wire cutters. And we're going to do a little demonstration here. I recently switched out the 154 cm replaceable cutters for the premium wire cutters because they come down to a little smaller profile. Makes for a little better wire cutter in this version. And then I have my EDC Leatherman Surge, which still has the 154 cm, and they're a bit more blunt, but they're better at doing hard wire cutting. So here's a little demonstration. We've got a 10-gauge stranded wire, and we're going to make a few cuts on here and show you what the difference between these cutters is. So on the first one, if I can get it to seat in there, and get it further back, here we go. So the first one is going to be with the standard 154 cm replaceable cutters, and we'll set that here. And then the next cut is going to be with the premium replaceable wire cutters. And you can see that got through there just a little bit better. We'll set that right there. And then the last one we'll do with the EOD version, which come down to a very, very nice point. These are just fantastic wire cutters. So here's the 3 versions. Now you can see that on the first version on the left, oh, excuse me, on the right, the 154 cm replaceable cutters actually pinch that down quite a bit. There's not really a lot. It's a blunt tip to it on the cutters, and then there's not quite the relief behind the cutters that you're going to find with like the EOD. And what I mean is you can see the spacing behind that, the cutting edge there on the EOD as compared to what the 154 cm offers. So what happens is it gets crushed against the back there. It just doesn't cut quite as cleanly. So the first version was pinched down pretty good. Now the premium wire cutters are actually a little better cutter. It's a little bit of an upgrade if you're looking for wire cutting capability out of your larger multi-tools or any of the multi-tools for that, as far as that goes. So it's a little cleaner than that of the original. But the last version, you can see the difference between those. It makes an incredibly nice cut. This is on par with that of the SOG models. SOG makes some really good wire cutters for their multi-tools, and this is definitely on par with that. Now it does not include wire crimper, or excuse me, hard wire cutters. So if you are looking for, and you need your Leatherman tools to be utilized more for soft wire cutting, and you want them to be better soft wire cutters, you can actually replace your cutters with the EOD versions of these tools, and they'll sell those separately. And I'll leave some links below for that as well. And that will give you the ability, especially for people like electricians who aren't cutting hard wire but do have a need to cut soft wire all the time. And one other thing about that, because they're so sharp, they dig into that really quickly. You'll notice that when I was cutting with my 154 cm replaceable cutters, what will happen is they'll get trapped there and it doesn't dig in, so it kind of slips up and you have to hit it a couple times before you can cut through it. Where with these, because they're so sharp, they really dig into that wire really quickly and just pop it right off. And you can see that is a very nice cut on that wire. Let's move along to the interior tools, and one of the next tools is the C4 punch that comes with it, and this is going to be one of those tools that's going to be unique to the EOD models. 2 things about this. First of all, this is removable, so you can replace it, and it includes the male threaded in here. Also in the pliers, in the frame here, you'll see you have this hole. And then you have a female threaded 832 there as well. So you can actually use both male and female to use on your gun cleaning kits. So if you wanted to attach your cleaning rod to here, it gives it a much more stable frame, and you're able to utilize the female or the male on this side, which is really unique to the EOD models and very nice to have, as a matter of fact. The next tool that we're going to be looking at is going to be the combination tool. If we can get that little guy out of there. It's a little stiff. This tool is brand new, and you can see I'm going to get black oxide all over my hands. But the combination tool is one that you find in most Leatherman products. Is going to be the can opener, which works extremely well. The bottle cap lifter, which works decently. It's not the greatest, but it does get the job done. And then the wire strippers, which are extremely convenient. The next tool is going to be the combination number 1, number 2 Phillips, and this is a truss style. It's one of the best screwdrivers, probably the best Phillips screwdriver that Leatherman puts on their multi-tools, apart from the bit replaceable, the replaceable bits style. This is actually probably a better screwdriver than those, but it doesn't give you the added benefit of being able to add on as easily. Now, the good thing about this screwdriver is they do have, and I don't have that bit kit in front of me, I apologize, but they do have a bit kit that I'm going to leave links below as well that will slip over this truss style and gives you the ability to add on extra bits. So if you needed some extra functionality, you definitely get it with this multi-tool. But the number 2 screwdriver is dedicated to this and is very strong and very good. The next tool is going to be one of our flat drivers. This is going to be your 1/8 inch, and that is a very good tool. Also incorporates a big lanyard ring there as well. Now the next tool is probably the best saw that Leatherman puts on their multi-tools, both in the, in the standard SuperTool 300 and the EOD version. It is probably the longest saw that I know of that goes on any of these. I might have to double check the Signal. The Signal has a pretty good saw in it as well, but I do believe that this is the longest saw that Leatherman puts on their multi-tools. And then if we flip around to the other side, we get the knife blade. Now the knife blade is probably the one thing that, because I don't like combo blades that much, sometimes I'm okay with them if they have a little, if they're not in a drop point. If they give you a little bit more blade, like maybe more of a Tonto style blade, the drop points are nice. I would rather this be a full length drop point as opposed to this half serrated version. If they were going to do this, I would rather see this in more of a Tonto blade style. I think it would work a little better because it doesn't take that much away from your straight blade cutting surface. But the blade on here is fantastically sharp, and the serrated blade pattern on here just works phenomenally well for cutting through any kind of man-made stuff like rope or paracord or webbing. Anything that you could put in front of it, it'll handle that task. The next tools, let's just try to fan these next three out. We have our 1/4 inch driver, and then this give you a big 5/16 driver, which both of these will actually double as light duty pry tools as well, and they are very, very strong. That's one of the things I love about the Surge, that has that large driver on there as well. It comes in incredibly handy. The next tool is our awl, and this is probably the best awl that Leatherman puts on their multi-tools. It comes in both the Surge SuperTool 300 and the EOD version here. Has the nice point on it as well as the cutting edge there for the reamer. I don't utilize the sewing eyelet, but for those that need it, is definitely in there, and this is a fantastically good awl. And the last tool that we're going to be looking at is unique. This is the only multi-tool that I know of that incorporates this particular tool. So this is a metal saw, and while the Surge has the Bosch T-shank style exchanger as well, it does not come with this. Now I haven't even checked this. In fact, let's try to do that. Let's see if that will actually work. See if I remember how to take this off. I think it's pressed over here. Yeah. To release this, you have to press up at the front here. There's actually a little arrow indicator there, and you just push that over, and then you're able to pull your saw out. So we're going to try that real quick in the Surge. I'm just going to pull my Surge in here, get this baby closed up, and take a look and see how well it should seat in there just perfectly. But we'll set that to the side and see if we can get her to close up here. Well, a little oily. There we go. Well, it's wanting to shift on me. I guess I'm just butterfingers today. I don't know why that doesn't want to. I just didn't have it positioned correctly. So in the Surge, there's a little bit of movement to it. Even though the spring is helping to hold it down, it's not quite as tightly formed as this particular one on the EOD, because it's made specifically for that tool. So while it will work in the exchanger for the Leatherman Surge, it is more designed for this tool. You can see that the profile on here is just exactly the same, the right fit for this particular saw. So that and one of the things you can do also, because it's T-shank style, you can flip it around the other way if you wanted to get it cutting on the bottom side as opposed to the top, which I think I'm going to leave it like that. Now it does kind of intrude on this little lip here, but the fact that you can flip it around is definitely a convenience factor, because if it's flipped the other way, then you're running into the tool itself. Yeah, kind of each their own. It's nice that they have that little metal saw on there, and to my knowledge, as of so far, it is the only one that incorporates that particular tool. When it comes down to it, I think they got this one right for the most part. There's really not a whole lot that I would change about this particular multi-tool. The only thing that I wish they could add to it, that I think it's missing because it's more military themed, is I wish they had a way to put in a sight tool here. Maybe they could have added an additional piece here that would fit into your pouch somewhere, that would also screw onto there, that would have a sight adjustment front to it. Apart from that, I think they've got everything right. In fact, those cutters, they are just so smooth. I just ordered a replacement set of EOD cutters for my Leatherman Surge, so that, because more often than not, I am cutting on soft wire with them as opposed to hard wire. So if you have a multi-tool that you're using more exclusively for soft wire cutting, I would definitely recommend switching out for the EOD cutters, because they are phenomenally good. You're going to lose your hard wire cutting capability, but you're going to gain a lot better functionality from your soft wire cutting. Well, this has been a closer look at the Leatherman SuperTool 300 EOD. My name is Ben. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.